from Bulldog Fire Apparatus to repair engine 1 and engine 2 pumps.
So moved.
I second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Long time coming for that bid.
It was. I think the fire chief will be relieved.
We did our due diligence, so.
We did.
Next on the agenda, review, discuss, and act on a workman's compensation waiver request for Roger Sisson Jr. for the upcoming snow plowing season. We have a handwritten letter from I, Roger Sisson Jr. of North Dayton, am the owner of the 1999 Chevy Silverado pickup truck I used to plow for the town of Dayton. I am requesting a workman's compensation waiver from the Board of Selectmen. Due to, he's the owner-operator, has no employees, he's not required to carry workman's compensation. And this town usually asks all those that are involved in that category to give us a written request to waive that. So gentleman, Roger Sisson Jr. is looking for the waiver.
I move that we grant the waiver to Mr. Sisson.
I second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries.
I have to ask, is Roger related to Nick?
I was wondering about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Just curious. I'm just certainly, everything is ethical and above board. I was just curious. Fine, young highway department employee, if ever we've had one.
Next on the agenda, review, discuss, and act on the Power Management Company's proposal for solar power site at Tremont Street, which was the former sanitary landfill. We've been given this whole proposal from the Dayton Planning Board after they have interviewed this company, gone through all the particulars about this project of a solar farm at the transfer station, as we all know it today in Forest, Tremont Street. This went on the agenda, but at this time I'm going to ask my colleagues to table it unless they have had ample time to go through this whole proposal.
You know, I was going to ask you, are they all that big?
I myself have not gone through it. I would like to, go through this, and being fairly new in this town, I want to make sure that I fully understand the ramifications, the awards, and the drawbacks, if there are any. So at this time, I would ask that we table this until we all have a chance to read it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we table this proposal from
Power Management.
Power Management until the board has a chance to review it.
I second the motion.
That motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? I would have bet you had some discussion.
Well, I'll simply take a point of order and extend it a little bit to say there is some question about whether or not a motion to table is debatable. According to the first edition of Cushing's Manual, unless we have adopted a rule specifically that it is not, it is, but modern practice is that a motion to table is not debatable, so I won't say any more.
Thank you. What's that word, congruent?
Incongruent.
Therefore, the motion's been made and seconded.
We think it was seconded.
It was.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Why do I do this? Next on the agenda, this will raise some eyebrows. Review, discuss, and act to appoint Ed Schwartz to the Dayton Rehoboth School Regional Finance Advisory Committee.
Miss-
I'm gonna ask Mr. Menges to explain this.
Mr. Chairman, we have been informed by the Dayton Rehoboth Regional School Superintendent that a vacancy exists on the Finance Advisory Committee among the two finance committee members that Dayton is supposed to send to that committee because of the election of Mrs. Goulat to a seat on this board. However, when I contacted Chairman Schwartz of the Finance Committee concerning this today, without saying that he would not accept this appointment, he said he would like the opportunity to consult the other members of the Finance Committee in case there were another member who wished to serve. My sense is, he did ask when the committee was going to start reviewing budgets and working with the school board, the advisory committee, that is. My sense is that he may also wish to include among the possible appointees the member who is selected at the Finance Committee meeting 2 weeks from now to replace Mrs. Goulat. And therefore, I think we probably should simply defer action upon this until we hear from the Finance Committee.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll so move, yes.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Very well put. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
I was really looking forward to nominating Mr. Schwartz. He was the alternate.
I'm sure you were.
He was the alternate when I was on the advisory committee.
Well, perhaps since he's the alternate, he will continue to fill in at meetings, if there are any, until another member is named.
Next on the agenda, review, discuss, and act to appoint Brett Zografis to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Mr. Menges, I might add, while I have this opportunity, has been very busy today and yesterday trying to fill approximately 5 or 6 open seats on different committees. He no longer uses this big, long hook as people walk by the office door anymore. And he knows people who are interested because, as we all know, Mr. Menges is always out in the public all around town, and he spreads the word about filling all these committee openings and vacancies. So I defer to let Mr. Menges take care of these appointments.
Well, I have to say concerning this one, how this came about. We posted online the vacancies for both the Committee to Study the Structure and Function of the Board of Health and the Zoning Board of Appeals. And we did receive an application for the Zoning Board of Appeals from a lady whose health has subsequently been ruled by her doctor to be at risk if she begins to serve before the beginning of next year. So, we went through our file of applicants for all the committees, and I did contact a couple of folks who had attempted in the past to be appointed. We had one gentleman who wanted to be appointed to an open space or conservation committee, and he did not return our phone calls. We left messages for him, but did not get back in touch with the board. We consulted another gentleman who had expressed an interest previously in service on a committee to do with energy. And his work commitment is such that he did not feel that he had the requisite time to be a member of the increasingly busy Zoning Board of Appeals. Brett Zagrafis, a candidate for selectman in the last election, had actually applied to be on the committee to study the structure and functions of the Board of Health. However, he at the time said that he would serve on any committee on which he could be of use. He is presently a member of the Van Geysen Hall Study Committee, and I contacted him and asked him if he would be willing to serve on the Zoning Board of Appeals after 2 o'clock this afternoon, in view of the fact that we had nobody else who had gotten an application in for anything prior to the deadline, and he said he would. And with that, I wrote on his, I wrote in red pen so that you can see it was me and not him that wrote it. I wrote on his application that he was currently on the Van Geysen Hall Committee and that his second choice for an office was the Zoning Board of Appeals. And in view of the fact that we had no other applicants, I offer his willingness to serve so that we can make the appointment of the 6th member as required by the bylaw and as suggested properly by Mr. Woods, who came to a meeting and told us, you know, you haven't appointed a 6th member. So I will make a motion that Mr. Zagrafis be appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
That motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion?
I think that's a good choice. He's
Yes.
been very interested in town government and wants to learn and participate, so.
Great.
Unlike a study committee, this is an office that will continue, and he will, you know, it's not, it won't break up and he'll be out of office. He will hold this position for a while.
But not only that, it's issues are varied and it's ongoing, so it's,
Right.
you know, it's just not one topic.
That's correct.
With that said, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Unanimous. Next on Selectman Menzies' list, accept the resignations and appoint new members of the Development and Industrial Commission.
This is a commission that is very dear to my heart. And unfortunately, the excellent people who have served on it ere long have career opportunities and advancements in life that have impelled 3 of them to resign. They were founding members of this committee. A little background: before the town authorized a Development and Industrial Commission under Chapter 40, Section 8A of the general laws, when I came on the Board of Selectmen, I attempted to resurrect the old Industrial Development Finance Authority. Now, it so happens industrial development financing has been taken over largely by the state, and local industrial development finance authorities are not really in vogue anymore. It was a mechanism by which industries that wanted to come into town could seek financing from a local lender, well, an institutional lender, a bank or lending outfit, using the credit of the town. And it was not something that we really had any intention that anybody was going to use. We had no industries approaching us to use it, but we had established this board in 1973, and I therefore We had to send a certificate to the state. We sent a certificate to the state and informed them that we were resurrecting this dormant committee. It's under the supervision of the state, and we did. And we put 5 members on it. The members of the Industrial Development Finance Authority each have to represent specific areas of endeavor. We have to have a realtor, a representative of town government, a representative of banking, and so forth. There's only one at-large seat on that board, the way it's constituted. Well, we did it. We asked a local realtor and so forth to serve, and we started it. But what we wanted was, we wanted it to function as an industrial development board rather than a financing authority. Finally, we got sea legs under us, and an annual town meeting came along. By that time, it was a recommendation of the master plan that we approve a development and industrial commission. The new master plan specifically enjoins us in strong terms to have a development and industrial commission. And we converted, if you will, the members of the Industrial Development Finance Authority to a Development Industrial Commission. The resignations that we have from Bob Pixoto and Karen Capello, who represent banking and lending, and Brian Brown, who, as an officer of the Simcona Electronics Company, represented business. They have, Mr. Brown has actually been moved up into the headquarters of his corporation. Karen Capello has increased family and business responsibilities that oblige her to resign. And Mr. Pixoto he's a wealth management counselor for Bridgewater Savings Bank. And although he's passed every course that the federal government has required up to now to hold his position, he is going back to school so that he can have a promotion. And no one can fault any of these individuals for being honest and saying, we simply don't have the time anymore to be on the Development and Industrial Board. That said, the town of Dayton owes these individuals a debt of gratitude for having been the founding members of this board. Industry and commerce, for all that we have our happy homes and we like the picturesque landscape of the town and so forth, a town looks very, what would we say, picturesque. It's the quintessential New England thing on the outside, but the happiness of a community depends upon economic activity. We still, for the majority of Daytonians, a bag of groceries is a 5-mile drive. Clothing has to be purchased at stores out of town. The daily bread is earned in places far from one's neighbors. Some of the happiest days in the life of our town were when we had 2 industries at which men and women worked together, as neighbors worked together under the same roof, lunch pailed together at noontime, went home together when the whistle blew, went to the same churches, their families intermarried, and it bonded the community together. And of course, the market gardeners and so forth sending their produce to Boston. Without this kind of economic activity, not only is the infrastructure that it paid for at risk of not having future revenue to sustain it, but also, such as public water, but also the happiness of the people is not what it used to be. The self-actualization, it takes shared struggle, shared work in the community to bond us together and make us a happy town. And therefore, those who had the spirit, the ideal, and the inspiration, if you will, to try it out, to be on this development and industrial board, were modern trailblazers, if you will, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. That said, with regret, I move that the resignations of Brian Brown, Karen Capello, and Bob Pixoto from the Development and Industrial Board be accepted.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? I might add, to accept these resignations with a regret. They're tremendous individuals, very savvy to the times, the change of this town, the nature of how things used to be compared to what it is today. I just wanted to add that it's a regret that they will be leaving. We will follow up with this with some appointments that we feel very, very capable of filling their shoes. But for now, is there any other discussion?
And to your statement, with regret, with our thanks and appreciation for their service.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Now, the second half of this agenda item is to appoint 2 new members, or 3.
Well-
3?
I would say certainly 2,
We have some more discussion on that one.
fine, and certainly 2, and I'll make a motion that Gregory Olson of 925 Main Street, for a 5-year term ending June 30th, 2019, and Vicky L. Piazza of 221 Summer Street, North Dayton, Mass., for a 5-year term ending June 30th, 2020. These are to finish the 5-year terms, obviously, that were left unfinished. Be appointed to the Development and Industrial Commission.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion?
I do wish to call to the board's attention the credentials of these appointees. Gregory Olson is intimately familiar with the industrial infrastructure of North Dayton, having been 15 years the superintendent of the North Dayton Fire District. He is extremely well acquainted with the work of the Development and Industrial Board up to now. He has participated in visits to the former Mount Hope Finishing Company plant, which is now Taurus Real Estate property. And his service in the Dayton Water District also gives him intimate familiarity with all corners of the rest of the town. He is well aware of the value to Dayton of business and commerce, and he is in contact with everyone in town who runs a business and pays for public water. And therefore, his participation, his willingness to participate on this board is a blessing. Also, equally a blessing to us is Vicky Piazza. Vicky Piazza is with us tonight. She was a municipal planner in Sunnydale, California, and has second to none credentials in planning and land use regulation. She also expressed an interest in the Development and Industrial Board after making a visit to Pete American's office with the Development and Industrial Commission to tour the former Mount Hope plant. And her willingness to serve, her insights are exceptional. Furthermore, I wish to say, already she has inquired concerning the open meeting law and ethics and the gift restrictions because where she hails from in California, the laws concerning the behavior of public servants are extremely strict, and we have every indication that she will be not only faithful to the public trust, but above and beyond what is required. We are keenly aware of her sensitivity to the ethical and open meeting requirements of modern public service. And we thank you for your willingness to serve.
So do we want to appoint definitely those two?
I move that these two be appointed. Yes.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? If there isn't any, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Would you like to say anything about your intentions for serving, what you plan to bring to the board, or what you, we certainly didn't ask you up here just to watch us sign the commission. We'd like to hear from you if you would like to.
Sit back here and talk, or do I have to go up there?
You can sit right up there, right in the microphone.
Okay, right.
We're making you serve before you're even official.
I want to thank you all for your support in appointing me. I do have a depth of background in planning and development on a whole different scale. Obviously, Sunnyvale being the heart of Silicon Valley was a bit larger. And a lot of the issues were the same but different, just on a different scale. So I feel like I'm bringing to the table a lot of insights, especially not only for what's going on now, but for the future of this community, because I believe the balance needs to be a little bit more in sync and have enough of the commercial and industrial development, and make sure the properties that we have available for that type of usage are well thought through. So we're, looking to, not right now, but 20, 50 years down the line, what we choose to bring in, so to speak. Does anyone have any questions? I also have other training in leadership and also in public safety. Sunnyvale was a town or city that trained everybody
Wow.
very well.
How big, population-wise?
Daytime or nighttime? Nighttime was 130, daytime was over 200,000.
Wow. A lot of commuters
A
coming
lot of
into the city?
We had Lockheed Martin,
Okay.
a lot of microchip. We did a 25-year master plan for Lockheed Martin. One of the last projects I did before I left in '99 to come here was 1 million square foot for applied materials. And we took a tour of their facilities too.
We
Anyway,
had an interesting conversation this afternoon about abatement of the contamination
Right.
at the former Zeneca site on Main Street.
right. Yeah, I also did some work with one of the chip processing companies in regards to toxic waste and the mitigation in certain neighborhoods, because there were monitoring wells and whatnot from the early semiconductor industry. So I do have some experience even in that arena.
Oh,
Excellent. Excellent.
we welcome you aboard.
And thank you very much.
Thank you very
It's
much.
going to be my pleasure to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. This commission will be photocopied, and as soon as it is, if you wouldn't mind stopping by to pick it up and be sworn in by the town clerk. Thank you very much. And we'll defer action on an appointment of Mr. Thibodeau until we've had an opportunity to consult concerning the demands of the office.
Last, under new business, review, discuss, and act to appoint a committee to study the structure and functions of the Board of Health. I believe today was the final deadline, right?
2 o'clock, yes, it was. Mr. Chairman, we received a number of applications. We also received a tentative verbal commitment from Mr. Cavallo and a verbal commitment from Mr. O'Connor. However, those will be supported by, we have emailed to them with the understanding that we need to have it back completed, a proper volunteer application form. However, with the information that they gave us, we have here 4 applications that I think should be acted upon. The rest of the applications are in the office if the members of the board wish to see them, but I'm prepared to move that the board appoint Joseph Cavallo, Ronald J. O'Connor, Thomas Pyers, and Matthew Tanis as 4 of the projected 5 members of the committee to study the structure and functions of the Board of Health.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. That's 4 out of the,
4 out of the 5.
we were attempting to get 5? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But we have other applications to get that 5th person?
Well, actually, really it comes down to just one other application, and the application was not complete and did not suggest distinguishing qualifications. And therefore, we may have to be proactive in recruiting the 5th member. I have asked the fire chief to reach out to Dr. Carter. I don't know what's going to become of it, but we will continue the posting on the website and continue to, perhaps one of these members knows of a 5th member who would be willing to apply.
So out of these 4, we have 3 with public health background or experience and a former chairman of the Board of Health.
Yes, yes. 2 former chairmen of the Board of Health.
Oh, that's right, yes, okay.
Yes.
Yes,
And 2 very active people.
that's good.
One is director.
Yes. Yep. There we go.
It'd be nice if we could get a doctor on board.
Would.
Did you make that motion, Patrick?
Yes, I did.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? None being, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
And once again, the commissions will be copied, and as soon as they are, they'll be at the town clerk's office where the appointees can pick them up and be sworn in by the town clerk. Mr. Chairman, I would also like at this time to, I'd like you and Mrs. Goulart each to have a copy of this proposed charge to the committee so that when we organize them, we have an agreed program of what they should do. I suggested, the committee should study, A, whether the Board of Health should be separated from the Board of Selectmen, and if so, whether it should be elected or appointed. B, the recruitment, duty assignment, oversight, and support of Health Department personnel. C, the role of Director of Public Health, and if such, full or part-time and local or shared with another town, and associated matters. And I suggested that the committee should report by December 30th, 2015 to the Board of Selectmen so that we have something to put in the annual town report. And also, if the committee has by that time decided whether or not to recommend that the boards be separated, we can place an article on the town meeting warrant for the next annual town meeting. And then stand by to report to the annual town meeting in 2016, especially concerning separation of the boards.
Yeah, I think this covers it. It's broad enough that under, you know, especially under B. If, like, the Van Geisen Committee, once they get operating, and if they see another area that they think should be part of it, this is broad enough, I think.
Very good. I think
I do know some of these subject matters were listed in that handout that Mr. O'Connor gave us.
yes.
So this is very, very good. Nice, it'll be easy to follow, too.
And they've got a direct line with the state for any research that has to be done.
That's
right.
correct.
He's been cleared by the Ethics Commission and everything, so. Very good. Motion was made and seconded. Any other discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Unanimous vote. Reports. I don't have any. Patrick?
Well, today at noon, we met with the superintendent of schools,
Oh, okay.
and he would like to replicate a low-rise budget for the Dayton-Rehoboth district, such as we had last year. Hopefully, an increase limited to 2.5%. He has talked to the principal players and made it clear that they'd like to be frugal and efficient with the resources that they have. Good news, the new boiler for the high school will soon start arriving in parts, and it should be online before severe cold weather afflicts the school, like last winter when the boiler failed. And on behalf of the disaster committee, I did ask if the real-time communication imaging, communication/imaging for response in the event of a vital emergency at the high school has been undertaken. And Mrs. Antonellis said that she wants to have Lieutenant Trombetta, I say Lieutenant, Acting Chief Trombetta, and the Rehoboth Police Department on board, and then she will brook it with the school committee. It's a very, very small sum of money, and the town, the disaster committee we've already indicated that the disaster committee will take the town's share out of our budget and pay for ours out of communication.
What is this called, Patrick?
I'm at a loss for the acronym. I know I got the acronym wrong in Sergeant Dutra. SYNC, thank you.
S-I-N.
Alice Sync, yeah, the Alice Sync training.
Oh, Alice.
Yep.
Yes, now I remember Alice.
It dovetails with Alice. It's, if an emergency occurs in the school, this will allow our first responders, actually the commanders, to see on their computer screen in real time where the trouble spot is.
Oh, okay.
And
Like a GPS.
yes, for what it costs, it's a very valuable tool. After meeting with the superintendent and the business administrator, we then visited Mr. Nardozzi's state-of-the-art cable studio. And all I can say is we will be looking forward to ways in which, with our own excellent cable commission and facilities, we can avail ourselves of this new high-definition technology that the high school has installed in the media center, in a room right off the media center. Very, very nice. Now, Mr. Nardozzi has been very supportive of our public relations, public information work. Our own public affairs committee, the committee that we have tasked to disseminate information about public affairs. Two of the three members were there, Sean Urban and Melissa St.Laurent, waiting for the Board of Selectmen when we got down to the studio. And it was a very nice meeting indeed. We're looking forward to some good things. And there are some programming opportunities that will be coming out of it. There's a studio there in which we can expect local folks, historical, cultural, what have you, to actually make programs that will be of interest to Dayton. So,
Would they show it on Channel 9 or 98?
well, it would be Channel 9, but what they have to do right now is they'd have to actually downgrade the program from high definition to low def, because our Channel 9 is
Not high def.
not high definition. But eventually, when we move up, so to speak, it's right there. And not only the broadcast facilities, which are so sweet, but also there are computers at which, you know, a student, member of the community, take a camera out and get 2 hours worth of programming on a chip. They can take it in and with a little training, sit at a computer and edit it and, you know, make their movie, so to speak. It's a very
That's great.
tremendous opportunity. We thank Mr. Nardozzi for his indulgence.
It was a good tour.
It
Very
was.
good tour. Moving right along to acknowledgements, I think we have a couple from our faithful Council on Aging, prime time.
Oh, under reports, well, the only thing I'll mention right now is I had, well, when I gave you the MMA meeting last week, I mentioned speaking to an alderman from Newton. I did get an email, and she's going to forward to me the bill numbers for legislation that has been filed, and the senator and/or reps who are supporting this, and what the changes or proposed changes are for utility pole removal, and I think action that communities can take. So as soon as I get that, I will print it out and give you copies.
Thank you.
Very good.
That's excellent.
We have two memorandums from Primetime, the Supportive Day Program. The first being a $32 donation was made and was deposited. The second donation was pleased to inform that Primetime has received another donation in the amount of $30. So that's $62 in two different donations. As usual, all donations are turned over to the town accountant and deposited in the Primetime Gift and Donations account. So I will entertain a motion to acknowledge these two donations, one of $32 and one of $30 to Primetime.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. $62.
Thank you.
Which brings us to public input.
So, how you doing?
Hi, Mike.
When you finally do get the commission or that meeting going, you let me know when the first one is, so I can get on there and have discussions with them. I greatly appreciate that. And make some decisions on that one.
Absolutely.
It's a different light on it. Yeah.
Well, I think there is some things that you should do before you jump on those things. One, I know I'm very busy in my schedule, as I discussed with Selectman Mendes earlier today. I'm always out and about, not only in the community, just out and about on business, traveling. And when I commit to something, say, you know, I just can't make it now, I can't make it this month, that would be a bad thing. Number one. Number two, there should be some studies also done on different things that attract business to town. And I'm pretty clear on focused on what those matters are. I know when this committee was, when I was first going together, Patrick had reached out to me and we discussed it, we looked at it and went over the numbers. It really boiled down to the tax base in town.
That's why we, you know, kind of wanted to reach out to you.
Oh, I agree.
You have great knowledge within, you know, the downfalls or the shortages of town and businesses coming here. And I think it's a nice approach, you know, get a look at how the meeting is and, you know, the individuals and all the players and, right. I think, you know, thank you for that.
I mean, the town's a great town, it's a great town to develop business in, which we're gonna need drastically.
Yeah.
The growth coming up in the future is heavy. The cost of schools coming up, the cost of other things that are becoming, so it'll be very drastic on this town, it's huge draining on the community. What business we have now, if we lose some of that, we're really gonna be in trouble.
Absolutely.
I know the solar panel farms are one thing coming on board, but I don't think you can put all eggs in one basket. I've never done that in business.
No, there's no doubt we need business, we do. It's not a secret, it's, you know, nothing we try to hide, it's, how do you get it? How do you get them in here, you know?
I guess the discussion would have to be done at the finance committee, and see how open they would be to doing some changes with some of the tax code.
Finance committee does not have anything to do with tax code, Board of Assessors.
But the finance committee regulates where the monies go, so they could decide whether they can cut that $840,000, $850,000 that's collected on personal property tax out of that to help attract business. I had an opportunity to put a building up to lease it to a gentleman with a machine shop. He had almost $800,000 worth of equipment. And I explained right after, I was very open. When I'm ready to put everything right on the table. I told him right, I was like, you know what, I have no problems putting a new building up. I own the land already, I can put a structure up, that's not a problem. The real estate tax is high. But if you come in this town with that kind of equipment, and they come in and assess you on it, you're not gonna be very happy with it. When they start taxing you $28,000, 50 cents a thousand on all that equipment, that's gonna scare you right out of here. I told him, talk to your accountant, explain to him what's going on, get a hold of our tax codes, look at it, and see what your thoughts are before we move any further. I was like, I'm more than willing to put a building up. I have a lot of land I want to develop business ways versus someone else to develop that's going to put houses on it. I think that's better for the community. I mean, I've lived in this town my whole life. I've had a business for over 30 years now in this town. So it's important to go this way.
My question would be, I'll put on my old finance committee hat, although I'm not a member of the finance committee anymore. How would the town make up the, you said $850,000. How would the town make up, you said cut the personal property tax. How would the town make up that amount of money?
You have to put some cuts on the budget.
But the point being that one of the things that we have avoided, going back to when I first was appointed to the Finance Committee in 2002, is we avoided layoffs, we avoided cuts in services. Now, we had positions that went unfilled when people resigned, retired, left for another job, and we had vacancies that remained unfilled. But by the same token, $850,000 out of the total budget in this town would mean a significant decrease in money available. So the balancing act is you don't want to put that on property owners. They're already stressed. So, you know, obviously, if we could get some industry in other than just the one you're talking about, it would be beneficial. But really, anyone who is interested in volunteering for appointment to the Finance Committee, it's really a good learning experience because you realize once you get in there what a balancing act it is.
I understand that.
When things were really tight years ago, people were saying the taxes are too high, and we were at the levy limit, and never proposed an override because we knew it didn't have a prayer. And that's why we pretty much remained stable. But when some individual said, why don't you cut taxes? The response was, what would you like us to cut? We can cut all of the trash pickup. That was at the time around $400,000.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we don't want you to cut that. Well, who should we lay off people? Well, because we have vacancies we haven't filled. So if we lay off people, there's probably going to be a reduction in those kinds of services. But then we're going to start paying for unemployment compensation because we are a pay-as-you-go town, which means we would be paying people unemployment and have an expense and no work for that money. So again, it's nice to say you need to cut taxes, but you got to balance the whole thing. And I understand where you're coming from,
Well,
but
that's the only reason that I see growth that's doing that business-wise. That's the only way we get it. I had a very large opportunity in the past month and a half, and I met with some people, they contacted me. I met with them, I'm not gonna go into particulars, and they came down with their accountants, their attorneys, and everything. We sat down. It was a big deal. It was a seven-figure deal. And it come down to it, and they asked me right up why I didn't put a new building up where I'm at right now. Because they saw my finances. Obviously, they did a Lexus search on me. They did it on Brad Street. They saw all the numbers that goes on with myself and all the businesses I have. And I explained it right now. I was like, it's taxes. And that was the end of it. The accountants said, excuse one moment. I stepped out of the room. They talked with their attorneys. They come back in. They're like, it doesn't make any sense for us to come to you. They walked away. I was upset. I wanted that deal. But at the same token, I have no control over that. So that just shows me that companies that are multi-million-dollar companies that look at this town want to come to the town. They see the tax base and say, no, we can't do it. The side we've got to look at now is all these people that complain about the real estate taxes residentially. What's going to happen when people like myself start taking 50, 60 acres of land and sell it off to a developer and he puts houses on it rather than putting 20, 30 businesses on that land? We're going to end up with more kids, we're going to have more strain on the community that way. That's going to be more of a cost. When you talk to the building commissioner, what's he got, 300 something permits out right now? If you plant one kid per house right there, that's going to be a big drain on the school system. I know there's already, what's our committee's formed already, looking into regionalizing the elementary and junior high, correct?
well, that's one of they have 3 proposals to study, but that's one of them.
What would the cost be to the community in the next 4 to 5 years if we have to add a new school or put additions onto the ones we're looking at now? I know they're already looking at buying that land for addition purposes. These are things I'm looking at.
We did purchase the land.
I know, but that just shows that there's intent for addition.
Okay.
Has there been any studies on what the cost of that's going to be to the town?
There isn't a proposal out there yet to add on to the school, so it was prudent of the town
I
to
understand.
purchase that land, because we all know eventually something will be done.
I understand that. I'm the same way. A piece of land goes up to some proximity, when I buy it right away. There's no questions asked. I just take it, latch it. They don't build more land.
That's right.
But at the same time, we got to look at our numbers going ahead. I've always done that in business. I mean, I've worked very close with the wheel manufacturers, even over in Asia that I deal with. I've worked really close. I actually was running a couple of wheel companies out of California. We were doing all the work. He had an email in the back to them. Samples getting mailed from Taiwan, air freight to us. We'd approve the samples. We were taking care of that whole company. So I understand running multi-billion-dollar operations on an annual basis, dealing with people and all the things. Trust me, the Asians aren't fun to deal with. But that being said, I understand your point.
Mike, don't miss that first meeting they have here.
Oh, I'm going to go to that. I came to the first one they had last time. That's why I did a study. It took me 2 months to study before I said yes or no to it. That's why I came with all my facts findings.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys thinking of me.
Absolutely.
That's really the holdback, though, I see for going any growth. I mean, you get mom and pop business, but that's not going to really help support it. We need larger business. You take any business, if you come in, you have personal property tax on your pallet racking, warehouse equipment, pallet jacks, narrow aisle stackers, any of your computer equipment you have, any office equipment, that's up a lot. I guess a good study would be to take the new police station, not trying to pick on it, have our tax assessor run an evaluation what that would cost if they had to actually pay taxes to the town on that, including the equipment. That'd be a great eye-opening experience. Not saying that we should definitely need to get that police station built. This is a good eye-opening experience. This would be something I would really wake the town up as a study.
Got some great ideas.
Mike, what kind of a business do you have? I drive by it all the time, and I don't really
This is
know.
the one, you should stop in and visit. We sell custom wheels. We sell everything that nobody needs.
Probably
But
why
want.
I haven't stopped.
But want. It's an amazing thing. We get customers from all over New England and they see us.
And it prospers because of want. I mean, people want it, and that's what it is.